are very active and been an ardent student of Surya Swamiji's prominent disciples, Swami Paramatmananda and Yogaprasad Swami. Apart from a lot of activities with them, we have found time to spend time with the students at Chennai and other places in disseminating the information, the learnings on Vedanta to other people to benefit the society in terms of human understanding. So that is the objective of this program also started by us. We wanted it to, like Surya Swamiji, we wanted this to be disseminated to all human beings, no exceptions, so that they have a better understanding of life and they are able to be useful to them and from being a consumer to contributor they can go into. That was the objective of starting on this. Our other initiatives are the books which Acharya is also involved in translating some books. Then we have our own app through which we disseminate information. We share all our those books and all our app. And then we've got a website and also there's an office in prominent place at Badapur where you can access our books and all that and have some meetings and satsangs and all. And we've got a facility at Japti on this place where we post all these talks and audios and videos and there is sort of a time where people can come and bring their students and teach the learnings and disseminate to more people. So this is the whole setup. As part of that initiative, we are today having Acharya ji amidst us. The year is coming to an end and she has what you call introduced a very interesting topic and most wanted but less known. It's a very catchy phrase which is fine for the today's evening's program. I hope all of you will enjoy the classes as well as benefit from the learnings so that our life in the year ahead and the coming years is more fruitful for ourselves and as for the society as well. Welcome Acharya ji. Audience is yours. Om.
सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Om. My namaskarams to the lotus feet of Pujya Swamiji. My namaskarams to Rameshwarananda Swamiji and to all the participants in this platform and to one and all present here. So very, very glad to see you all coming up for this session. Here we have a group of audience who have come, students who have come directly, and we have you all on the meeting room. Very glad to meet you all on a very nice holiday evening. So instead of choosing any other thing, it's really nice to see that we all have united to discuss about, to know about Moksha, less known, most wanted. So welcome to Moksha. We all must have heard this word Moksha. Moksha cannot be an unknown word, having been born in Bharat or having your roots in Bharat, it cannot be a word that you haven't heard. But there are so many words like Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, Sharanagati, Vairagya, Jnana, and on the top of this list is Moksha. And these are the list of those words which have been more wrongly understood in today's society than being rightly understood. So if you go up to somebody and ask them, do you want moksha? Just ask them, do you want moksha? Most probably they would be shocked, because for many moksha is a posthumous reward. Okay, so something like, mostly understood as Vaikunta Prapti, and we are having Vaikunta Ekadashi coming up in this season, and Vaikunta Ekadashi is also called Mokshada Ekadashi, so it's all the more a reason why one can get confused. So it's a prayer where Vaikunta Ekadashi Vratam one takes to pray that Bhagavan Vishnu washes off your sins, and he, takes you there, and you have a seat reserved in Vaikunta. And based upon your merits, the class of seat, whether it is HA1 or A1, A2, that is based on your merits. So now one may ask, one who is new to, or one is who considers him or herself to be a rational thinker, may have this question: doesn't this sound like what the other systems also have? Moksha is something that you gain after death, and you go to some loka, some place up above, where you are kept well, where you get to experience all the exalted objects, and you are always kept happy. That is how moksha is understood as commonly, though we know that all those who have studied Vedanta, we know that this is not what moksha is. And our Shastras present it as something that one gains at this lifetime itself, and it is not something after death. However, there are certain things, even as sadhakas, we need to get clarified, and we need to understand more about this, which I thought we will take up as a discussion for today. So what is moksha, first of all? Simple translation is freedom. Freedom meaning from what? From what freedom? Is it from some prison or something? Or is it something like you have been ruled over by somebody, some colonial rule, and you are getting freedom from them? Or because normally we have heard freedom from our childhood in the history textbooks, that freedom struggle of 1947 and everything. So one needs to know, when we say the meaning of moksha is freedom, one needs to understand the meaning of what it is, the context in which Shastra uses this word, and also the relevance it has with me. This should be brought about. The meaning, the context, and the relevance it has with me should be brought about for the complete understanding of what moksha is. Otherwise, there are either chances of gaps in understanding, or there are chances of confusion. So we will see that now. So why do I need moksha? If the question is why do I need moksha, then we will remember of those granthas which narrate a story, which narrates an imagery of the entire worldly experience, telling that, there is a man who is hanging, who was chased by a tiger, and he ran upon a tree, and then he was about to fall down into a well, a very deep old well, which is filled with crocodiles and snakes, but he is hanging on to the tree, the branch of the tree, which is also cracking and about to fall. And the tiger is close by the tree waiting for him to come up. So if he comes up, he gets eaten by the tiger, and if he falls, he is into the well. And at that time when he is hanging down, there is the honey dropping from the tree, and that falls on his tongue, and he tastes it. And this is all about samsara. And these are the descriptions that we come across to say that, and many more, to say that this world and its experiences are filled with pain and sorrow. And do you want to be free from that? You want to be free from that? Then moksha is for you. So this is how moksha is presented, as we have seen commonly. And suppose somebody says, do you see the pain you experience in your life, you go through in your day-to-day life? Do you see the pain? And suppose one says, no, I don't see any pain. I am fine. Life is fine. It's going on fine. And I don't have any problem. Why do I need to be free? I'm already free. I'm happy. So is really moksha relevant for me? How is moksha relevant for me? Then, the person is asked, okay, tell me this. Suppose somebody comes and tells you that the milk that you are consuming is genetically modified, and consumption of that milk will lead to diabetes or to any other disorder, and that creates a fear in your mind. And then you say that in this weather you get waterborne infections, and don't drink water outside. So anywhere you go, you are cautious. You don't want to drink water because you get affected. And some years back we had this airborne infection called COVID, and that was again a matter of fear for everybody. And no need to make a mention, everybody has the fear of death, right? Everyone has it. And sometimes we get to think, and how will my end be? How will my death be? And when will it be? What if this happens to me? And all these things. And all these diseases that come up in the old age, thought of those diseases. And when you see people suffering with a lot of diseases, all these things brings fear. And what about your balance with the bank or the investments, the market fluctuations? And suddenly the Prime Minister announces demonetization once again. So all these things are subject matters of fear. And then the teaching goes, you see the fear. So that is samsara. So just, we have fear in everything. You take anything, they say keep the door closed. Okay, don't open the door. And these days, there were days, I think, not very a long time back, 20, 30 years back, the doors used to be always open. But these days, you are instructed not to open the doors. And then you dial, I don't know, for the last 2 days, if you have dialed to anybody from Chennai, you get an information, a warning on a cyber crime. So these kind of things happen where, it induces more fear in you. And when a person is asking, moksha is freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from what? Freedom from fear. So if you have fear, that is an expression of samsara. If you have not known samsara in any other form, this is an expression of samsara. This is good enough. Don't you want to be free? So this person is afraid of just everything. Just like how Bhartruhari says, Boge roga bayam, kule chuti bayam, vitte nripalad bhayam, mane dainya bayam, bale ripu bayam, Rupe jarayat bhayam. So just everything and anything he is afraid of. And then this person prays to Ishvara that he is freed from all his sorrow. And Shastra also emphasizes on the other side that you have to do dosha darshanam of all your experiences in the world. Just like how Bhartruhari in the shloka that I just quoted, he says, Sarvam vastu bayanvitam bhuvi nrinam vairagyam eva abhayam. He says you have to be a vairagi, first of all, to at least be a little fearless. So, if I have the fear of all these things in the world, Shastra says, do dosha darshanam. Understand that they do not have a continued existence. They are all fleeting. And shlokas in Bhagavad Gita like Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. These all remind that there is this problem with the world that, the experiences are not long lasting, they are not real, and they bring sorrow. And I am given to a lot of painful experiences and experiences that are, giving me sorrow. So Shastram is asking, do you don't see that these experiences are there and you have to do dosha darshanam, that you don't enjoy pleasure completely, because every experience of pleasure is not pure, it is dukkha mishritatvam. Pleasure is mixed with pain. Any dharmartha kama vishaya, they are a mixture of pleasure and pain. And while our Shastra says it's a mixture, Patanjali goes one step further and he says everything is dukkam eva sarvam. He says arjane dukkam, rakshane dukkam, nashane dukkam. So everything is dukkam. You buy a new house, there is joy because you wanted to buy. There is joy in looking out for the house, finding the right house, and then buying the house. But it comes with a pain, right? You have the EMI that gets debited every month. Just the same way, Shastram presents that your body also, you have your youth where you experience pleasure because of your youth, and then you have your old age where the same body gives you pain. That which was a source of pride and joy once upon a time is a source of pain. So don't you see the dosha? And Shastra takes you step by step to show that your experience with this world is not pure, it is mixed with dukkha, it is contaminated with sorrow. But still we go after it. Why do we go after it? Because of the happiness factor. Yes, the painful factor is there, but because of the happiness factor we go after it. And then Shastra says, atriptikaratvam, dushpuratvam. No matter how many times you enjoy, it is not going to satisfy you. And because of this, because it is short-lived, any experience is short-lived, so you enjoy it for the time being and then you want more of it, so you go behind it. Therefore, dukkha mishratatvam makes you go after the happiness, and dushpuratvam or atriptikaratvam ensures that you go after completeness, because you think that that object is going to complete you, that experience is going to complete you. And these two keeps you bonded with all the worldly experiences. Bandhakatvam. And therefore, doshatraya makes you go round and round and round. Because you have a pursuit and you work for it, it gives you a result, and the result has dosha. Because of the dosha, you again take up another pursuit. and that gives a result that has dosha. Again you take up the next pursuit. You go round and round and round and round. This is the giant wheel of samsara. And now how to escape from this? Jnanam is the way to escape, and jnanam is presented as the sadhana for moksha, samsara nivritti. And samsara, it is varnanas are given in the shastra where it is described as bhavasagaraha, bhavarogaha. And there are many verses in shastra to describe which gives you the samsara varnanam and directs one to look at the doshas in the worldly experiences. Dukkha dosha anudarshana. Now, with this, one gets an idea that world is full of suffering, and Shastram is giving a way to help me move out of this suffering, go beyond, transcend this suffering. So this suffering is samsara, and Shastram is providing me with the samsara nivritti upaya. And in the beginning stages, it says Bhagavan only can help you. And one runs to Bhagavan. And then one goes to a teacher, initially uses the teacher as a consultant, and then happens to study some parts of the teaching. And then he gets into Bhagavad Gita class. And with all this in the mind, with all confusions in the mind already, he hears this shloka in Bhagavad Gita where Bhagavan openly declares, Mamupetya punarjanma dukkalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. So in moksha, you come to me and you don't go back to this world which is dukkhalayam. So one gets an idea with this presentation. If one is not having the picture of, or if one is not able to grasp the right teaching or the core of the teaching, what happens is one is given to an idea that moksha means I want to just escape from this world. There is a hatred towards, a kind of hatred also in some people that gets developed towards this world. And when one studies Upanishads say that moksha is your swarupa. And there is nothing to be done to gain moksha. There is nothing to gain. Right? So this world is presented as, all the worldly experiences are presented as dukkha, and dukkha nivritti is the meaning given for moksha, or the explanation given for moksha in some places. Now, there is an expectation with this, even for the sadhakas who have been studying Vedanta for quite some time. There is an expectation that, there may be an expectation that, there has to be something happening, or to become something, to become free from something, and that is moksha. What Shastra tries to explain, or what Shastra clarifies, is moksha is not any destination to be achieved. Moksha never existed or exists as a destination to be achieved. Then what you mean by samsara and crossing over samsara to gain moksha? How is that to be understood? Shastra clarifies that the expectation of gaining moksha, that I have to gain moksha, is the samsara. That is called Bhranti. That is the samsara. Expectation of moksha is the samsara. And this Bhranti nivritti or samsara nivritti How can that happen? It can happen only by way of dropping the expectation. If the expectation has wrongly come, and this wrong is the cause of all the confusions, then what can be the solution? The solution can only be dropping off the misconception or the wrong notion. Therefore, when you say ajnanam is samsara, ajnana nivritti is moksha. When you say Bhranti is samsara, then Bhranti nivritti is moksha. But a serious Vedanta student, a sincere Vedanta student, should never say dukkha is samsara and dukkha nivritti is moksha. Why? Because I, the Atma, there is no dukkha in me. I am already free from dukkha, and there is no dukkha in me to say that dukkha nivritti and I get moksha. If only there is dukkha, there can be dukkha nivritti, no? When there is no dukkha, where is the question of dukkha nivritti? And when I did not have dukkha, I have never had dukkha. At no time I had dukkha. Though the conventional definition of moksha is dukkha is samsara and dukkha nivritti or samsara nivritti is moksha, one should understand that this is only a provisional explanation or a provisional presentation by the Shastra. Until when one is able to see that this world is not the source of my sorrow. Okay? So the truth is, moksha is not any destination to be achieved, to be reached, to be accomplished, to become, or anything that has to happen in my life, anything to be attained in my life. Then what is moksha? Moksha is my swarupa. This is the understanding. So that means that no guru can give you moksha. No shastram can give you moksha. In fact, Pujya Swamiji used to say, even the omnipotent Ishvara cannot give you moksha, cannot give you moksha. Because it is your swarupa. Then what is moksha? Dropping the expectation to gain moksha is moksha. This is what is to be done, and there is no other moksha. People talk of many mokshas, many other mokshas people talk of, thoughtless state of mind in samadhi, where one experiences a sort of sukha. No, that is not moksha. Why? Because it is experiential. It arrives and departs. It is short-lived. It is anitya. Moksha cannot be anitya. And any supernatural experience or mystic experience, some systems call it enlightenment. Okay, that is not moksha. Going to any loka is moksha. That is what we already saw. That is not moksha. Moksha is not any destination. Some people think that people who are liberated, jnanis, have siddhi powers. And siddhi powers are indications that that person is liberated. No, that is also not moksha. Some people think sannyasa is moksha. Though there cannot be moksha without sannyasa, sannyasa itself is not moksha. I hope you understand. And there are some groups, the Gandharva Manushyas, the performing arts people, they consider music as moksha, natyam as moksha. No, all that is not, or any other form of art, no, that is not moksha. Killing all your desires, that is also not moksha. Or, any external appearance where somebody keeps laughing and laughing. Somebody keeps smiling, he keeps talking to himself. that is a sign of liberation. No, it is not. Though, moksha is presented as ananda prapti, it is not to be misunderstood like this. Okay? So, now again, this ananda prapti, also like dukkha nivritti, is a provisional definition. Just like how we said dukkha is not my swarupa, and it's dukkha nivritti is a provisional definition. One need not have to work for dukkha nivritti. Why? Because you don't have dukkha. So you don't have to work for dukkha nivritti. Then what is that you need to work for? You need to work, I am experiencing dukkha. And you say, I don't have to work for dukkha nivritti. Then what should I work for? You need to work, if at all you have to work to understand that you are not the dukkhi. You are not dukkhi. Puja Swamiji very beautifully puts this out. He says, when in other places, in the outside world, when you experience something, say you experience sorrow, you are sorrowful. But only a Vedanti knows, when you experience sorrow, because you experienced it, you are not sorrowful. So, and Ananda Prapti, when Shastra tells, all the Ananda Prapti that we already know of is the experiential Ananda that we get. So, there is a misconception that there is something to be attained, there is some joy that will come in from somewhere, and that is moksha. This understanding, this is there even in people who study Shastra. All these things, these confusions are still there. So people struggle to remove their sorrow and they work for happiness. They don't understand that you don't need to work for happiness. And in fact, many who study Vedanta, they don't understand the difference between happiness and freedom. They don't understand. If you ask a person, do you want to be happy or do you want to be free? I give you a minute. Now think for yourself. Do you want to be happy or do you want to be free? No, I don't expect an answer, but think for yourself. Many would in fact choose happy because they don't understand the difference between. And some others who are intelligent would not respond. They will in fact ask a question. They will say, what is the difference? Okay. So, to be happy or happiness, how do you define it? That is the next question. If you understand that happiness is different from freedom and they are not one and the same, then tell me first, what is happiness? How do you define happiness? Anybody online also are free to answer. You have a minute. Define happiness. What is this? Something that you want all your life, something that you want every minute. There is a subhashitam in Sanskritam that says, Sukham me sarvada bhuyat, dukkam ma bhoot kadachana. Iti ichet sarva samanye. So what is happiness? How do you define happiness? Now don't give me synonyms. Define. What is happiness? Absence of dukkha. You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you? It is a state of mind. It is just a state of your mind. That's all. A mental experience. And any experience is, is a triputi. When we say triputi, there has to be an experiencer, an experienced, and an experience. Right? Experiencer, experienced, and the experience itself. Now, out of these three components that make up the triputi, the experienced object or situation and the experience, these two keep changing. They are not constant. They keep changing. The experiencer, follow this carefully, okay? The experiencer experiences the experienced, okay? And the experience, if it is a favorable experience, he considers it happiness. If it is an unfavorable experience, he considers it to be sorrow. And to have a happy experience, what he does, this person, I want a happy experience. So what I do, I do something with the outside object and the experience so that I get what I want, right? So that I get to experience happiness. So notion number one is happiness is outside, is from outside. This is the first notion. And he goes on working to modify these two components, right? He is the experiencer. And he goes on working to modify these two things, the experience and the experience, the experience and the experienced. These two he modifies just to ensure that he experiences happiness all the time. So you are in a rented house. You are having a lot of problems in the rented house. And the house owner keeps increasing the rent. So what do? You decide that you want to go to another rented house. And then you look out for another rented house and you see that there are factors that are going to keep you unhappy. You are not going to get what you want. So what you decide? You decide that only an owned house is going to keep you happy. So you go looking for a house, to buy a house, and it is not within your means. So what you do? You change your job so that you get a higher salary to ensure that you are able to accommodate the EMI and all other expenses. So you shift your job, you earn more, you work harder and harder to earn more, and then you buy a house, and then you pay the EMI, and then you have a problem with the neighbor, with the parking and everything. So you constantly keep working on that, and then finally that gets fixed. And then you keep falling sick. Somebody will tell you that, there is a vastu problem in this house. How many windows do you have? No, so many windows you should not have. Windows should be one less. Some odd number, even number should be there. This kitchen should not be here. Bathroom should not be here. Balcony should not be here. The entire entrance of the house only, it's in the wrong location. Entirely they will change the map itself of the house, the layout of the house. So all these things you work again to improve. So this person goes on working to improve the experienced and the experience to ensure that it keeps him happy. Now, what has been ignored? The experiencer, who has been constant and unchanging, has been totally ignored. And to have a constant experience of happiness, this person has been trying to modify and mend with the experienced and the experience. So he struggles with two things that are fleeting, and he has totally ignored that one thing which is constant and is never changing. What is that? Sakshi. I, the Sakshi, who is the experiencer, the witness of all the experiences and the experienced is totally ignored, and he keeps running around changing and modifying those two fleeting factors, and it is a never ending journey. He fails to see that the Sakshi, the Chaitanya, the Vastu, the changeless Vastu, which is the truth of his own self. And Shastra reveals the Vastu to be Ananda Swarupa. And his focus is on experience of the mind. Happiness, which is merely a state of mind. So, and he goes on running for this. And all the time, Pujya Swamiji says, all the time you work for a created condition. You know, a created condition to keep your mind happy, so that your mind is happy. In fact, the problem is not even with the mind. The problem is not even with the mind, because mind is jada. Problem is not even with the mind, but the sense of bondage. You think that you don't have it. You think that you are short of it. You think you are limited. And this keeps you running behind it. And you know, this journey that one goes through from saying that I am sorrowful to the journey where he says, I experience sorrow, but I am not. I am not sorrowful. This recognition is a simple fact. This recognition is a simple fact, and this is what is presented as the journey of freedom. And this is in fact moksha. Nothing else is moksha. Because you identify yourself with the mind, and you erroneously identify yourself with the thoughts of the mind. Because the thoughts of the mind are either happy or sad, so you erroneously identify yourself to be a happy person or a sorrowful person. Therefore, when the error is in the wrong identification, what can the solution be? Dropping off the mistake, dropping off the erroneous identification, dropping off the notion. While the thoughts in your mind are changing, recognition that the solution is in the recognition that I am the seer of the thoughts and I am not the thought itself. And as a seer, the Sakshi, I am absolutely free from any thought that comes in the mind. I am the witness principle who is free from any thoughts of the mind. Therefore, every experience, and you take every experience in this world, it is nothing but a thought in your mind. And you, the Sakshi, are free from it. And once this is recognized, this world cannot be a cause of problem. This world cannot be a source of problem to you. Not only this world, even the thought that I don't have sadhana chatushtaya sampatti cannot be a problem. Because, if moksha cannot be dependent upon any object or situation, then how can it be conditional upon sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, which is again a condition of the mind? If moksha is my nature, I am free irrespective of the state of my mind. Right or wrong? So, moksha being my nature, I am always free no matter how much limited my mind is, how much limited my senses are, how much limited my body is, or how much unlimited my body is as well. Okay? And with all the limits, though my senses are limited, though my body is limited, though my wealth is limited, though my thinking capacity is limited, though my ability to talk is limited, I am not so profound, I am not so good in Sanskritam, I am not as intelligent as that person. In spite of all these limitations, no problem. Vedanta does not remove any limitations. The knowledge given by Vedanta Shastra, the knowledge revealed by Shastram, does not remove any limitations of your body or your mind. Why? Because the limitations of your body or mind cannot be removed. Why? Because they are limited. By nature, they are limited. Therefore, it is not that you become free by doing something so that you handle the limitations of your body and mind, or you are freed from the limitations of your body and mind. Vedanta reveals that you are already free in spite of the limitations of your body and mind. Therefore, you cannot seek freedom from a limited mind. And when you talk about the limitation, it is what causes the problem is the notion that all these limitations are my limitations. Pujya Swamiji very beautifully says, limitation of the mind is not the problem, but being limited is the problem. The notion that I am limited is the problem, because you again identify yourself with the mind and the thoughts of the mind. You consider the thoughts of the mind as you, while you are not. And these beautiful words of Pujya Swamiji, which I thought are very apt to quote in this session. And I would like to end this session by quoting his words here. Everyone seeks freedom, but not everyone knows that he or she is seeking. Freedom is recognizing the fact that you are already free from any form of seeking. The self, being full and complete, is unisolated from anything. This teaching is Vedanta. So, very, very beautifully presented by Pujya Swamiji, and I think all of us owe a lot to him for such a great person who can be none other than Dakshinamurti himself. That is how I look upon him to be. So, with namaskarams to Pujya Swamiji once again, and thanking AVR and PT for organizing this satsang session, and giving me an opportunity to be part of this. It's been very nice to be a part of this for the last 3 years, and making use of this opportunity to share whatever I have been learning. And it is wonderful to remember Pujya Swamiji in every teaching, every part of his teaching. Every part of his teaching is not only worth remembering, but it is worth meditating. He is such a teacher. So thank you very much. I would conclude this session with Purnamada. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you. Thank you, Namaskar. If there are any questions, can we take it, Amma?
Oh, yes.
If anybody has questions, please you can unmute yourself, or I can read it out from the chat also.
Namaskaram ji.
Namaskaram.
ನಾನು ಕಾರ್ತಿಕ್ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಾನು ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. I really like the correlation of experience through the house example. One doubt I have, I don't know how relevant it is. So to attain moksha, is it jnana is main, or through bhakti marga also we can attain moksha? Because sometimes it is bit difficult to get the jnana from jnana. That's the reason I'm asking.
Sure. Very nice question. It is definitely relevant. There is no question that can be irrelevant, because as long as it is relevant for the questioner to get clarified, so every question is relevant. One thing that is commonly misunderstood is that there are several paths to gain moksha. This is one a common misconception that is there in the society. Normally people say that there are 4 paths to moksha: one bhakti marga, one raja marga, karma marga, jnana marga, and for the intellectuals it is jnana marga, for the emotionals it is bhakti marga. All these kind of explanations are there. Pujya Swamiji has clarified this multiple times, but I'm happy to clarify this to you, because remembering his teaching is I have another opportunity to share this. So one thing is bhakti. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna is very clear that when he classifies bhakti into 4, he says Artha Bhakti, Artharthi Bhakti, Jignasu Bhakti, and Jnane Bhakti. And he says Jnani, the last stage, as Bhakti. And even in the 4th chapter, when he talks of all the yajnas, he says Jnana Yajna is the highest of all yajnas, and all other sadhanas culminate into Jnana. That is why Jnana is the highest of all. And this is from Bhagavad Gita. There are several places in Shruti, in the Veda and the Upanishads, that repeatedly assert that there is no other way than Jnanam for moksha. Jnanat evatu kaivalyam is a very, very famous quote from the Shastra, and this has been asserted in many places. In Kaivalya Upanishad, Nanyah Panta Ayanaya Vidyate. In Shvetashvatara Upanishad, almost there is a student who worked on this to find out in how many places this occurs, and it's almost in 24 places in one Upanishad. And the Upanishad makes it very clear that moksha is only through jnana. And in fact, towards the end of the Upanishad, it says, in case you want moksha without jnana, there is one other way, where the Upanishad makes a jibe, and it says, what you do, you go to one end of the akasha and roll it like a mattress until the other end, and the day you do that, you are liberated. So which means that moksha through any other means is not possible. That is what Upanishad is revealing. So the idea that is communicated by Shruti, Smriti and all the granthas is that moksha is only through jnana. The reason being, bondage is because of misconception, and misconception is because of ajnana. When the problem is ignorance, the solution can only be knowledge. Nothing else can solve the problem of ignorance. Therefore, jnana is the only way for moksha. Bhakti, is it not a way? to be accommodative, I can say that bhakti is also a sadhana to moksha indirectly. We have sadhanas classified as sakshat sadhana and parampara sadhana. Sakshat sadhanas are direct sadhanas, which are shravana, manana and nididhyasana, which is jnana yoga. Parampara sadhana is or are many things. Parampara sadhana are those sadhanas which prepare you or lead you to shravanam. And bhakti, if you ask me in which category it comes, is it sakshat sadhana or parampara sadhana? I will say bhakti in the form of devotion to Ishvara, who you think is different from you. Where you say Ishvara is different from you, Saguna Ishvara, and you do bhakti, that comes under parampara sadhana. And where the bhakti, where it is bhakti, where the bhakta does not see Ishvara different from him, then that is jnana marga, that is jnana yoga. Therefore, if you ask me whether bhakti, then I have to say, what kind of bhakti are you telling? What kind of bhakti are you talking about? Are you talking about that bhakti where you see Ishvara as different from you? Then no, that is not the marga or the direct marga for moksha. If you are talking about Advaita bhakti, then the answer is different. Have I answered your question?
Yes, ma'am, really well answered. And from long time I had this query how to the path of moksha jnana. This actually a kind of confusion I had. Really it got clarified, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. If you are comfortable reading English, or there is this book on that Pujya Swamiji has written, Teaching Tradition of Advaita Vedanta. I would recommend you to buy that book from AVR and PT and read it. And also we have done the Tamil translation of it. So both is available with AVR and PT. So whichever language you are comfortable, I would really recommend that you read this book. It will bring a lot of clarity for you. It's a wonderful essay written by Moksha. Teaching Tradition of Advaita Vedanta in English, or in Tamil it is Advaita Vedantathin Marabu Vali Karpittal.
Okay, Advaitam.
Teaching Tradition of Advaita Vedanta.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you. Amma, we have one question on chat.
Yeah.
It is Sakshi Moksha?
Is Sakshi Moksha? Knowing that you are Sakshi is Moksha. Identification with your nature, which is the witness consciousness, is moksha. Sakshi is not moksha. I mean, have I clarified?
It's on chat.
It's on chat, okay.
Okay. We can move to the next question. If they have any query, we can ask them again. Can we connect this with karma and dharma? Can we connect karma and dharma? I think that's what they mean.
Can we connect karma and dharma? Yes, of course you can connect. Karma, your duties are based on your dharma. And your dharma is of twofold. Samanya dharma and Vishesha dharma. Samanya dharma is common for everybody. And when it comes to Vishesha dharma, that is again of twofold, Varna dharma and Ashrama dharma. Ashrama dharma is your dharma in your personal life, whether you are a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha or a sannyasa. And then when it comes to Varna dharma, it is your role with respect to the society. So what role you have taken up in the society? Have you taken up Brahmana karma, Kshatriya karma, Vaishya karma or Shudra karma? So the dharma is connected to karma, definitely.
Namaste. I would like to ask, how does moksha look like? I mean, the realized one. Do we relate moksha with body also, or I mean, how do I say that a person is liberated? So it is very difficult. It is very subjective. If I say I am realized, but how do someone ensure that what I say is right? It is so subjective, and it is so easy to play gimmick around, and there are people who are actually taking benefit of this particular aspect and doing wrong things in the society too.
All right. So, one thing is, when it comes to jnana, moksha, liberation, everything, and when you go to a person uh, who you believe for whatever reason is a jnani or a mukta, Shastra tells you that when you choose your guru or teacher, you ensure that there are two things. Okay, there are two qualifications that one needs to have to be your guru. Okay, and guru can only be for Atma Jnana. Though this word guru is, commonly used for anything. You have this management guru and all these things, no? No, that is not guru. Okay, and recently this word guru has got added in the English dictionary also. Americans have added that word to their dictionary. I don't know what meaning they have given in the dictionary, but guru word is very, very, it is to be connected only with Atma Jnana, because the definition given in the Guru Gita is Gukarastvandakaro vai Rukarastanivartakaha Andakara Niroditvat Gururityabhidiyate. Meaning, one who takes you from ignorance to the light of knowledge can only be Guru. That is one who teaches you. Okay, and knowledge can only be by teaching. Knowledge cannot be by Sparsha Diksha, Nayana Diksha, meditation and all. If that is all possible, then in schools and colleges we can adopt that. Why children are made to sit, study, write exam tests and all these assignments and repeatedly, no? If knowledge can be imparted like that, then it should be easy, no? So if that is not possible with physics or chemistry, it is not possible with Atma Jnanam also. So what one has to do is sit and learn from a teacher. That is what Arjuna did. That is what Krishna, who is an avatar of Ishvara itself, did. It is such a tight situation where the conch has been blown and it is all set to fight. The war is started. They stopped the war and they have been discussing Atma Jnana. What is the need? He is Ishvara, he is omnipotent. He could have just blessed Arjuna with knowledge and it is over, just a fraction of a second. No, it required teaching. It required Arjuna to come back with questions, with doubts, get clarified, and then Krishna has to explain that again. So they went on and on and on for 700 shlokas. So what is the need in such a a tense moment, right? But if that is what is required to be done, that is what is to be done. So when you choose your guru, be very careful. You cannot just throw the blame on the other person. You have no control on how the other people in the society behave, and you will never know. So, and where you choose your guru, the condition number 1 is he has to be a Shrotriya. That is, he must have had a guru. He must have already been a disciple of somebody. He must have also gone through the sadhanas, sat under the teacher, and he should have received the knowledge in the traditional way. He should have received this teaching with the sampradaya. Sampradaya meaning the methodology with which the sorry. So he must have gone through. You are not.
Yeah.
Sorry, you are not
What
audible.
is it? It's Christmas. Oh wow, you got gift.
Sorry.
Please continue, Amma. I think somebody unmuted themselves.
So he must have received this knowledge from his teacher along with the method of teaching, the methodology which is called the prakriya, the method with which the Shastra Vakyas are to be unfolded. So there is a method that is given by the tradition so that the knowledge is imparted clearly without doubts. Otherwise, if you use any other technique to unfold the meaning or to interpret the Vakyas of Shastra, it could only lead to confusion. So you have a beautiful tradition that is coming from Ishvara himself, and therefore one should have been a student in this tradition. So you go to a guru who has already been a student, and then he must have the skill of communicating to you in a way that you understand. So if these two conditions are there, then you can choose him. If either or both conditions are missing, what is suggested is, he may be a great person, he may have siddhi powers, he may be wonderful in all other things. What is suggested is, you just do namaskara of him and then come back. Don't go to him for study. That's all. So we don't have control of who all are cheating the society. Whether somebody is cheating the society or not, I am not here to speculate that or do a research of that. So I cannot approve of anybody's truthfulness or honesty. All that I can do is, if I am a sincere seeker, I should seek only knowledge. I should not go behind any other magic or mystical powers.
Thank you, Ma.
Okay, ma'am, there's one more question if you can take it. Is the experience of moksha is subjective or objective?
Is the experience of moksha subjective or objective? Moksha is not an experience at all. That is what we just saw in this session. Moksha is not an experience because any experience is a state of your mind. And moksha is your swarupa. It is not any experience. That's all.
Now there's one more question.
Sure.
Why does one do anything in this lifetime?
Why does one do anything in his lifetime?
Yes.
Okay. Why does one do anything in his lifetime is because he has a goal to be reached. He sets a goal and he goes beyond it to accomplish the goal. And the basic reason why he runs behind a goal is because he thinks that attaining the goal will fulfill him. And that, Shastra says, is a misconception, because one is already free and there is nothing to be attained to make one free or to make one complete or to make one happy. So there is a sense that, I attain something, I achieve something, I accomplish something, or I become something, so that I am experiencing a condition that is more improved than what I have right now. A state of mind that is improved, happiness or joy or a sense of completeness that is, exalted than what it is right now. But one doesn't understand or one doesn't see that all through in his life, for all that he has accomplished, those moments are fleeting and they are not long lasting. And then you go behind something else. And the same thing happens, it recurs again and again. Therefore, why does one run behind something, or why at all one does something in life, is because of apurnatvam. YouTube, there is a question. Okay. There is a question on YouTube. When Atma is Akarta and it is only a witness, how karma gets attached to Atma? Very nice. Atma is Akarta and it is only a witness. Alright. So karma doesn't get attached to Atma. No karma gets attached to Atma. Atma if karma gets attached to Atma, what will happen is Atma will be born and gone. But Atma is na jayate va na mriyate va. Atma doesn't, it is not born and it never dies. So karma does not touch Atma because the planes of reality are different. Karma comes under the transactional plane, and the nature of Atma, when we talk about the absolute reality of Atma, it is not transactional. It is free from all the transaction, which is called Paramarthika Satyam. I just wanted to avoid these technical words, but just understand it is like two different planes of reality, like your dream state and waking state. Like how whatever actions you do in the dream, the punya papa of all the actions that you do in the dream does not affect the waker. Just the same way, you were the sakshi, you were not the karta, you were only the sakshi of the dream, you were only the witness of the dream. How can then all the actions that you do in the dream affect the waker? Much the same way, the actions that you do as a karta does not, or the you that you think you are as a karta does not affect you, the real you, which is Atma, the witness principle. I hope I have clarified this. Okay, that was on YouTube. Any other question?
Last one, can we just take this one alone?
Oh yes.
Kindly explain Paramarthik Satya and Vyavahara Satya in detail if possible.
Paramarthika Satya and Vyavaharika Satya. Very simple. Okay, we will just go with, as I told you, there are two planes of reality. This transactional plane, where you see yourself as an individual associated with this body, mind, senses, and you have a world in front of you to transact, you experience, and everything that happens. This transactional plane, where you have the experiencer, experienced, and the experience, the knower, the known, and the process of knowing. So all these Triputi, this is Vyavaharika Satyam. Okay? And in your absolute nature of being the existence consciousness principle, where you are not the body, you are not the mind, and you are not attached to any of the conditions of the mind, where you are not even the knower, that is your reality, the pure consciousness. Now here you can have a question as to the sakshitvam and the absolute consciousness. Just understand that where the consciousness, the mind which is functioning in the presence of consciousness, functions as the knower. So Shastram first introduces with the Drishya Prakriya that you are the knower, Sakshi. The word Sakshi is again a relative usage with reference to that which is being witnessed. If you are the witness, then there has to be a second thing which is witnessed. And then later on, Shastra moves one step ahead and it says you are not even the witness, because all that you experience, including the mind and this Jagrat Prapancha, the Swapna Prapancha, all of them are just thoughts that occur in the mind and they do not have a real existence separate from the witness, the consciousness. Therefore, they are mithya, and this is such a technical question to answer in a few minutes. Okay, so they are mithya, and you, in your absolute nature of existence and consciousness principle, is satyam. So what is satyam? And in fact, all that is vyavahara is mithya only. Why it is called vyavaharika satyam is because, you know, it is Shankara just accommodates. All right, you keep it as satyam, and then you go to the next step. So it is not that this is also satyam, that is also satyam, and you have two satyams. No, it is it is just to accommodate. It's kind of a feel good kind of thing where he says, okay, all right, you keep this as satyam, and then I will tell you how this is mithya. Any other question?
There's just a comment, Amma.
Yeah.
So I think it said we could say that the sun is the Atma, the reflection, and all that happens to it are the Vyavahara.
No, there is no question, right?
There's no question. There's no question. It was just a comment, Amma.
Okay.
Thank you. I think that's it. We'll close with the questions, Amma. Thank you so much for the wonderful talk, and thank you for ending the year with such a amazing topic. Thank you so much, Amma.
Thank you, Amma. Thank you so much. Namaskaram.
Thank you so much, Amma. Namaskaram.
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 धन्यवाद महोदय, धन्यवाद, बहु सम्यक, very nice it was.
Thank you.